Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 5 of the Black Canvas Grappling series. Now, I just want to again say thank you for all the support on the recent episodes. You guys have been amazing, and hopefully it does continue. I'm really enjoying this series, man. I knew I would, but I'm just really glad that you guys are enjoying it as well. Just one more thing to mention before we get into actually booking, well, we have to advance first, but booking TAGMANIA Tour Day 1. You can buy TEW 2020 down in the first link in the description below, and that'll take you over to Grey Dog Software, where you can use my affiliate link and purchase the game for yourself if you are wanting to play TEW 2020. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's actually advance forward because we do have 8 days until that first tour date for TAGMANIA. Now, it's worth mentioning, I think this first tour date is actually still in January, which is a little bit strange, because, you know, realistically, I'd like a new tour to kind of begin in a new month, if that makes sense, but it's obviously not too groundbreaking. But I guess the only thing that we do kind of miss out on, well, we will see it this episode, and that is sort of like a financial breakdown of how this first month has gone. We'll just have to wait until after we finish this first show. And then I think we'll be able to advance one day, I think. I think it's on the last day of the month, or the second last day. Something like that. Either way, I'm kind of looking forward to actually seeing the finances. Because, you know, we've got a decent amount of money, and I would kind of like to spend that. Whether it be, you know, upgrading the dojo or the training center, perhaps. Stuff like that. I mean, obviously we could get our own broadcaster as well. But like I said, that seems a little bit overpowered at the moment. Well, at least it was when the beta first dropped. Yeah, we've got quite a few days to process here. Alright. Yeah, we're finally up to where we need to be. I mean, the only other thing that I'm kind of a little bit upset about is the fact that Reizan Okamoto is out with that injury at the moment. Because I'd really love to be using him, man. He is so good. And like I said, I want to be pushing him. And the fact that he's out injured for 2 months is pretty annoying. Because, you know, we can't do anything with him. You know, his popularity is going to stay the same as well, essentially. Let's do some meddling. Again, we want to try and actually meddle between Finley and himself. Still no effect. Okay. It's got me a little bit worried. I don't want to exit TEW. What am I doing? So Kansai. Now we're still only expecting 500 fans. So I think we pretty much have to go with a generic venue. But I think the generic venue might have screwed us over a little bit in the last episode with the Heritage pay-per-view. Anyway. We're going to start booking, and obviously TAGMANIA basically means there's going to be a lot of tag teams and a lot of tag team matches over the course of this tour. But I think tonight, on the first tour date, let's do a couple of singles matches. What we're going to do, we're going to use people from the tag teams in singles matches against other people from tag team matches, if that makes sense. So, I think all these tag teams will be involved. How many do we have here? 10, I think. 10's kind of a bit of a weird number. We might go for 12. Because we do, of course, have Bunraku Kantori and Tanya Toshisai. And then I think we also had Sofu Ozawa and... Who was he with? I think he was with... where is he? Yeah, Rokas Sotomura. I think they had pretty good chemistry as well. So with that actually being said, let's go back because we're going to add some teams. Just so, you know, it makes it a little bit easier for me. Alright, so first of all, Bunraku Tori, Tanya Toshasai. Let's give him a suggested name. Dominance. Shining Force could be pretty good. I kind of like that, actually. Shining Force. Make them a unit. And I think we're going to add that team. Shining Force. With Bunraku Tori and Tanya Toshasai. Not too bad. And then we'll add the other team. We're not going to give them any sort of special name. It's just going to be Rokamon Sotomura and Sofa Ozawa. Let's make them individuals. I feel like they're kind of individuals as opposed to being a unit. I don't really see Sotomura teaming with anyone in a sort of, you know, unit style. Kind of picture him being pretty much just out for himself. Okay, so with that said, what we want to do is, I'm still kind of questioning myself if we have a singles title match. I guess we don't. So, with that being said, we're probably not going to do a Funikoshi match at the pay-per-view. And of course, I think we'll have the final be the TAGMANIA. The final of the TAGMANIA tournament. Okay, so let's go with Miura. Of course, one half of the tag team champions. And he's going to take on... Let's go with Marvel Malloy. And I think that could probably actually be our technical masterclass as well. And I think I want to give Miura the victory there. Actually, do I? I kind of want to give the victory to... Let's give it to Marvel Malloy. I do really like the American Cobras. They're kind of one of my favorite tag teams. And I'm super happy they're actually with... Look how good they are. Like, their wrestling ability, their primary skills. Absolutely insane. So yeah, I think we'll... Miura doesn't have the length. What is his... What's his stamina? 65? He should be able to do this match. Come on. There we go. Did I make it? I didn't even make it a technical masterclass, did I? Alright, there we go. We then need to do a... Well, I want to do the main event. So, I want to have... I'm not sure if I want Tori. Yeah, let's go Tori. I mean, it's kind of guaranteed that he'll get a pretty good rating. And I think he's going to take on Taku, Yoshinaka Taku. I would like to give it 22 minutes. Obviously, Tori's going to pick up the victory. Needs to be scripted, slow built, decisive. Alright, so that's going to be the main event. Again, one tag team member versus another tag team member. Let's just keep it in this sort of fashion. You know, usually we don't do singles matches on the tour shows. But in this case, I kind of want to do it. Alright, so up next, let's go with... Who's better between Kamisaka and Kiyotaka? I think Kamisaka is just a little bit better. I mean, they're roughly the same. I think Kamisaka is just that little bit better. So let's go with Kamisaka. And we'll get him to take on... Maybe Animal Haka. Yeah, let's go with Animal Haka. And I think I want Kamisaka to actually win the match. I kind of thought that he wasn't as good as he actually is, so... We'll get that one booked in there as well. Up next... I mean, we can sort of do exclude already booked. So let's go with maybe Sejuru Sen. And he can take on one member of Cloaked in Shadows. So Sejuru Sen. And he can take on... Where are their names? Shadow Ichimori. I think that kind of works out. And I think we'll give Sejuru Sen the victory. Obviously, much more established. Yep, that looks pretty good. Another one. Alright, who do we have left? We got Sotomura. Alright, so let's have Sotomura. And he can take on, I think, maybe Kinoshita. Yeah, so let's do Sotomura. Taking on Kinoshita. Obviously, I mean, the Young Lions, they're not going to really be winning too much, so it's kind of to be expected, especially in Japan. Okay, let's lower it to 10, I guess. I guess we can still keep going with matches. Who do we have left? Alright, so let's go with maybe Okamasa to take on Hisaka. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. So Okamasa to take on... Where is he? Ginji Kasaka. There we go. That one should be pretty good, I think. I think Ginji Kasaka is probably one of the better young lions we have as well. But again, unfortunately, not going to be successful as we just try and train these guys. It's probably a good... It's a good little tournament for them to be involved in, purely for the fact that these guys actually are in tag teams, some of them anyway. Some of these young lions. And this is going to not only give them exposure, but give them good experience with some more established members of our roster. Alright, so we're at 95 minutes. Let's do an angle for Bunraku Kentori. Let's put it after. I do like... I mean, in Japan, they usually have angles sort of after the matches where they go on the microphone. And what I want Tori here is to say that he's going to win TAGMANIA with his new tag team partner, Hanyu Toshisai. And of course, they are now called the Shining Force, or Shining Force. Do I want to do the Shining Force? Shining Force, the Shining Force. I guess we'll leave it for now. What else can we do? We could actually do another angle for someone else. Not exactly sure who would want it or who we'd want to give it to. Actually, what I might do something a bit strange. And before the show, we're going to have the formation of the import stable, I think. I think it's time. Let's go Finley, Giant Brody, Animal Haka. We need Wild Red Stallion in there as well. Not Dreadnought yet, because Dreadnought's going to be recruited later. And what I need to do is I need to suss out. I guess we could just go menace with all of them, and just make it a shorter angle. But I think Finley does actually have pretty good entertainment stats as well. So let me just double check that. So we'll book that for now, but let me just jump into the roster really quick. And I want to have a look at Finley O'Faraday, or Big Bruiser Finley, as he's known. So, where am I looking? Performance skills. As you can see, he's pretty good on the microphone. Pretty good. Obviously, his menace is a lot better. But I think we can get him over using him as the... Obviously, he's the leader, but he's also going to be like the mouthpiece of the import stable. Can we do 5 minutes if we have someone on entertainment? I think we can. So we'll give it a try either way. And let's rename this the formation of the import stable. And I think, yeah, we'll chuck it right at the start of the show. And then actually on the pre-show, we're going to have... we're going to have a... Yeah, 6-man tag. And we're going to have these members of the newly... Well, we will form the stable in a second. So Finley, Giant Brody, and Wild Red Stallion. Alright, and I think they converse maybe some more of the younger guys. I don't know. Yeah, I think we go with some of these guys that aren't actually going to be involved in TAGMANIA. So like Hosaka. Let's go with Amano. I don't think Sugar Amano is going to be involved. And then I guess Osono. These three could actually be their own little stable. They kind of all look the same. Like Osono there looks pretty similar to Amano. I mean, they don't actually look similar, but I guess in my head, I mean, I guess Hosaka and Osono kind of look a little bit similar with the same similar sort of hairstyle color. Not really the style, more just the color. But yeah, either way, let's test it out. It's going to be on the pre-show regardless, so I don't think it really matters too much. Should we put it on the pre-show or should we just put it on the main show? I might just put it on the main show, to be honest. And we'll have the angle going before it. How much time? Could we actually put it on? I don't think we could, actually. Yeah, I think we'll leave it off on the pre-show. That's fine. And what is wrong with our analysis? Wild Red Stallion is being used far too much on the show. And we also don't have a steal the show match. Let's go with these two for steal the show. I think they can do it best out of anyone else. And I guess, I mean, I don't really care that he's being used that much. He's on the pre-show, like, it shouldn't really matter. Alright, so let's start the show. We start off with a 43 for the pre-show match, where we have Big Bruiser Finley, Giant Brody, and Wild Red Stallion defeating Iki Hosaka, Shiga Amano, and Yuta Osono in 12:07, when Big Bruiser Finley pinned Yuta Osono with an Atomic Spinebuster. And then we had both Hosaka and Amano both off their games. Not a great match, but again, it's only on the pre-show, so, you know, that's perfectly fine. Oh, okay. Yeah, I should have scripted Finley. The opening angle only gets us a 37, where we have the formation of the import stable. But as you can see here, obviously Finley got penalized for not having a script to follow, which definitely makes sense, and I should have checked that. Something I still need to get used to going from 2016 to 2020. We then go into a 41 where we have Marvel Malloy pulling off a bit of an upset victory over one half of the tag team champions in Noritoshi Miura in 15-24 by pinfall with a Marvel Breaker. Of course, this was the technical masterclass as well. We then go into a 43 where we have Roku Sotomura defeating Koyo Kinoshita in 9:41 by submission with a twisted bow and arrow. A pretty good match, actually. I was expecting it to be a bit worse. And then this match beats it out by 1 point, getting a 44, where we have Sajuro Sen defeating Shadow Ichimori in 11:35 by submission with an over-the-shoulder backbreaker. Interesting finisher there from Sen. We then go into a 45, which again is 1 point better than the last match. And we have Shakuru Okimasa defeating Ginji Kasaka in 11:53 by submission with a Scorpion Deathlock. Nice to see Sting's finisher there. We then go into a 48, so it does do quite a bit better for stealing the show. We have Kamisaka defeating Animal Haka in 11:47 by pinfall with a stump pile driver. Yeah, it's just a good match, really. I'm pretty happy with the 48. They both actually did better. Yeah, they both did better with their... Alright, so what I'm trying to say is the match itself did a little bit better than both of their in-ring performances. Moving on to a 66 rated main event, which I think is very good, but obviously these two guys, they're relatively on the upper card, I would say. We have Bunraku Kintori defeating Yoshinaka Taku in 22-22 by pinfall with a spinning forearm smash. And yeah, Tori got a 64 and Taku getting a 53 there. And I think that was definitely just a solid main event. And of course, we got one more angle left. Getting a 59 from Tori by himself. And of course, he vows to win TAGMANIA with his newly established tag team with Tanyu Toshisai. Finish the show, we get a 58, which is, it's relatively good. It's still increasing our popularity in the other 7 regions of Japan. But again, we're not really getting that increase in Kansai, which is kind of where we want it at the moment. We want to try and get, I think it's 59 popularity in your main region, so Kansai. Anyway, let's have a little look at Pride Glory. Only getting a 66, which I think is relatively low for them. 75 there for their main event, which was a 6-man tag, I think. Have a little look at 5-star. They're doing about the same as Pride Glory. And I think they're essentially classed as a medium company. Can we have a look? Let's actually go into companies real quick and have a little look at 5-star. So, wait, what? They're tiny? How are they tiny? That'd be a pretty interesting series to do based solely around women's wrestling. That's interesting. I thought they would have been much higher. They're doing so well. But they're only tiny and they only have 95,000 in their bank. Some of their talent in regards to Joshi wrestling is pretty high caliber. Probably some of them outperform the men. Let's just say that. Actually, I would say a lot of them would outperform a lot of men in Japan as well. Anyway, let's just advance forward. We want to get into this second tour show. We are going to have a lot more. They're not going to be tag team matches because I kind of want to save. We will have tag matches, but most of the established tag teams we have are not going to be involved in purely just tag teams. We might do a lot of 4-on-4s and I guess singles matches, similar to how we did in that first tour show. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh, we also need to look at the finances. We'll do that at the end of the episode. So we'll get this one booked as well, and then we'll check how much money we actually made in the month of. Oh, perfect. There we go. Medaling success between Reizon Okamoto and Big Bruiser Finley. That's perfect. Two of our like main stars that I'm going to use throughout the series. Anyway, let's go another generic venue because there's nothing close to 500 fans. There's like 300 and then 1,000, and I think we'll probably lose money if we go into the 1,000-seater. All right, so the main event, we're going to go with 4 established tag teams for our main event, and it's going to be interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with Shining Force, and they're going to be teaming up with the tag team champions in Yoshizawa and Miura to take on Ipitsutsai and Okamasa, and they're also going to be joined by Yokikawa and Sen. I think that's a pretty good main event. I want to give it 22 minutes as well. And then I think we'll give the victory to Toshisai. Obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of Toshisai. So you can kind of imagine that, you know, Shining Force are going to do pretty well in the TAGMANIA tournament. Alright, so there's the main event. Let's have I want to have an angle for Funikoshi. Well, it doesn't need to be scripted. It's going to be a menace angle for 4 minutes anyway. Basically, he's going to come out at the end of the show and say that, you know, tag team wrestling or TAGMANIA is a farce. I'm not being paid. I have no match at the TAGMANIA pay-per-view. And, yeah, I have no real challenger either. He said he wanted Bunraku Tori to be his next title defense. But unfortunately, Tori cares more about his new best friend than he does about the BCG world title. Anyway, moving on. Let's book some more matches. I want to have I guess another 4-on-4. And this time actually, let's go back. Hold on. We need to create our stable. Alright, so it's going to be called Import, capital letters, you know, just to emphasize how brutal this faction is. I guess it's going to be a faction. Yeah. And then of course Finley, Giant Brody, Animal Haka, and Wild Red Stallion. Finley's going to be the leader. Let's go with Brody as the muscle. And then let's go with Stallion as maybe the lackey. Yeah. Him as the lackey, and we'll just have Animal Haka as a member. So yeah, Wild Red Stallion's going to be considered the lackey. He's obviously the youngest in the stable. We can obviously change that, I assume, at some point as well. I'm just kind of having a look here. New members. Yes. I've never actually made a stable on 2020 yet, so this is a first. I'm assuming that you might not be able to edit the stable later. Surely you can. Surely you can. Anyway, I think that looks pretty good. Let's add the stable. Alright, so there's import. I mean, do I want Wild Red Stallion as a lackey? I kind of don't want him as a lackey, but I mean, in regards to this faction or this stable, he's probably going to be the guy that's taking the most pinfalls. So, I don't know. It kind of makes sense, I guess. Alright, so let's book a 4-on-4, and is there a stable button? There is. Can we not just import the stable? I feel like that would have been a really good way to just implement stable. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm probably just missing something. So if you know how to, if there's ways to import stables into the match booking system, please let me know down in the comments. But apart from that, we can just do it manually anyway. So Finley, Brody, Animal Haka, and Wild Red Stallion. And they can take on... Let's go with Dynamite Narahashi. Pretty much just want to use guys that are not involved. And of course, Goto and Brody are going to have a bit of a storyline going, so we can chuck him in that match as well. Rockimon's still out. Obviously, don't want to put any sort of established members in there as well. Let's go with Matsuzawa. And then finally... I mean, we could go Urigataya, but I don't... yeah, let's go Urigataya. Maybe he can get into a bit of a storyline with Finley going forward as well. But we are going to have the team of Giant Brody. Giant Brody's going to get a pinfall victory onto Naozan Goto. And that's sort of going to set up a bit of a title match for him down the line. Probably for the March pay-per-view. I did Animal Haka. How do I keep doing this? I'm sure I did Goto. Alright, there we go. So we do have the official debut onto the tour of Import. I kind of like the name. And it's basically just, you know, I've mentioned it previously, but, you know, Big Bruiser Finley recruiting some of the more titanic, the bigger guys to join his stable. And of course, they're all Gaijins, just looking to take as much money from BCG as possible. And obviously, they want to try and win the titles. Because if you know, it's been said many times before, champions make the most money. Alright, up next, we want to go with let's go with another singles match. And this time I want to go with Sotomura and Storm Spillane. Or should we... Yeah, no, let's do it. Let's do this match. I was going to go with Izawa, but I think Sotomura is just a bit better. And we're going to give Storm Spillane the victory there. I think we can probably call the match as well. And that one's going to be the technical masterclass as well. I guess we'll keep Sotomura strong. Just don't really want any morale issues at this sort of point in the series. And of course, we already have some, so... Alright, up next, let's go with a trios. Let's go with Blaster Koma, and he can be joined by Hamisaka and Kiyotaka to take on... Yeah, I guess let's go with Furusawa, and he can be joined by Team Taku. I think that's actually a pretty good match. Let's go 14 minutes, but I want to steal the show with this one, I think. And let's give Yoshinaka the victory onto Kiyotaka. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Open, script, decisive, steal the show. I think we're probably going to get penalized for the match not being long enough. I think we can we make it 15 minutes? Let me have a look. So, steal the show. Yeah, I mean, it goes all out. I mean, you don't want a match. We'll do 15, just because it's more of a test than anything. We still need some more matches, so let's see who else we've got available. Let's just do a tag match, and we'll use some guys. Let's use Funakoshi. And I think he can team up with... maybe one of the younger guys. Let's go with Osono. Funikoshi and Osono. And they can take on... Who can they take on? Good question. Maybe just... Yeah, let's go with these guys. We haven't used them yet. Agata and Kisaka. Of course, they are going to be a part of the TAGMANIA tournament as well. As you can guess, they're probably not going to do too well. Let's drop that one back down there. Okay, so we do have some more room. I think we might go with another import. Yeah. I want to do another import angle. Purely for the fact that I messed that first one up. So we're going to script. We need to script Finley. And then we'll just go with the other members. Brody, Animal Haka. Well, yeah, we'll chuck him in as well. And these guys can all be on Menace as well. I think Wild Red Stallion has pretty good Menace. From what I remember. Let's also do Success. And I think we'll just add these 4 into a storyline. Just pretty much by themselves as well. They don't really need anyone else in there. So that can go before their match. Let's go with a storyline, add it, we'll just call it import. Maybe import is here. There we go. And then it's going to be Finley. Let's go in order. So Brody, Animal Haka, and Wild Red Stallion. And there we go. Okay. That looks pretty good. Do I want to do any pre-show stuff? Who do we sort of have left? I guess we do want to do a pre-show match. Maybe Suki can do something with a few young boys, young lions. Sounded a bit strange. But let's go with Cloaked in Shadows, and then we'll chuck maybe James Diaz with Suki. And we'll give Suki the victory. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's run the show. Starting off with a 44 for the pre-show match, where we have Suki and James Diaz defeating Cloaked in Shadows in 12-15, when Suki submitted Shadow Ichimori with a Suki Special 3. I mean, it's a pretty good pre-show match. We then go straight into a 53 for our technical masterclass, where we have Storm Spillane defeating Roku Sotomura in 14-41 by submission with a kneeling Boston Crab. And apparently Sotomura and Storm Spillane have great chemistry in their performances, so good to see that these two can, be competitive against each other in the future, as well. So it could be a go-to match that we try and use in the future. Still not a great angle. This time getting a 35, where we have another import angle. And of course, they actually have their sort of debut match together on the actual main show of the tour. That does pretty well, getting a 48, where we have import defeating Dynamite Narahashi, Naozane Goto, Yoshisada Matsuzawa, and Masashi Uragataya in 12:06, when Giant Brody pinned Naozane Goto with a single-handed chokeslam, and as you'd expect, Wild Red Stallion being the weak link in the ring. Alright, moving into a 60. Okay, that's very good. We have Furusawa and Team Taku defeating Blaster Koma and Kamisaka and Kiyotaka in 15-14, when Yoshinaka Taku pinned Kiyotaka with a full Nelson bomb. And then, as you'd expect, Furusawa head and shoulders above everyone else with a 68 in-ring performance there. And again, a little too short for the fans' liking. We then go into a 48 where we have Funakoshi and Yuta Asono defeating Agata and Kisaka in 12:01 when Funakoshi pinned Ginji Kisaka with a butterfly backbreaker. And again, this match was apparently too short, but I guess that's because we have a major star in the match. We then go into the main event, which does, it does pretty well. 62 there, definitely beat out the other Steal the Show match. And we have Shining Force and Miura and Yoshizawa defeating Ipitsutsai and Okamasa and Yokokawa and Sen in 21:53 when Tanyu Toshisai pinned Yori Ipitsutsai with a dangerous brainbuster. And as you'd expect, Funraku Tori head and shoulders above everyone else in the ring with a 68 in-ring performance there. And then finally, we have the angle from Funakoshi, which gets a 56. And, of course, he's just pretty pissed off. And basically accuses Funraku Tori for wanting to be in a tag team more than he wants the BCG world title. Again, we've used a lot of people too much, which is kind of understandable. But we do get a 55 for the overall show rating. I'm pretty sure it might have been penalized quite a bit for all of these overused workers. So yeah, we might leave Wild Red Stallion out of the angles, because I think it might do better with him not there. I think it probably would. We can have him in the matches, because that's what kind of really matters at the moment, is him training up. But he might be dragging that angle down, I think. Anyway, still increasing popularity in the other 7 regions. And let's have a little looky at our finances here before we end the episode. Been a pretty good episode, actually. And of course, we've started the TAGMANIA tour. Alright, so let's check these finances. Okay, so last month the company made $31,315 profit. That's pretty decent. Considering how many shows did we run? We ran 7, we essentially ran 8 shows. That's really good. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, well, I have to say I'm pretty happy with that. We can continue to make a profit running that many shows, especially once the wrestling industry recovers. I would see us going from small to a medium-sized company pretty quickly, I would say. We're only, I think 6 points away? Let's have a look at size here. We're only 6 points away in Kansai. As you can see, we only need 59 popularity. We then only need 35 in one other region as well, I think. Yeah, because as you can see, it says plus 35 in either Chubu, Chigoku, or Shikoku. Which I think is very, very easy. Almost seems too easy. Because 35, I mean, we're already 22 in all 3 of those regions, so... The TV show, along with the, the tour highlights, along with us actually venturing out into one of those regions, I think could really speed things up as well. Anyways, that is going to be the end of the episode, guys. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, new to these videos, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell turned on. Got about 7.5% of my subscribers that have the bell on, so I want to try and get that number up. Those are rookie numbers. We want to boost that up. Anyway, as always, guys, apart from that, take it easy. I hope you enjoy your day, I guess. Goodbye.